Object relations theory sees the object as a person that differentiates from subject being the self and objects of desire, fear, etc. The object essentially is another person's qualities and contributions to interactions. So you can think of kindness, thoughtfulness, etc. as examples. Object relations theory is not about sex and aggression or ego development. Rather, it's about the balance between independence and attachment. It's all about the emotional life and how needs are met and not met in relationships. It's not just about relationships with others, rather, how those interactions are internalized, processed, and later externalized. For example, being married may not mean good object relations. If you're married for 20 years, it maybe, because of dependence. Similarly, being single may not mean bad object relations. If you're single for 20 years, it may mean that you're very independent. The focus with object relations theory is on how interactions with others are internalized to impact self psychology. The limitations to object relations theory include a focus on mother baby relationship only. Culture and changes in time are not taken into account, and technology is also not taken into account. Technological advancements are not taken into account. The theory of self psychology sees time, place, and culture impacting the definition of self. Essentially, the self is always dynamic, always changing. You're essentially playing different roles within different groups, and self psychology sees empathy as the key to growth. The development of the psychological self is likened to food and water in the theory of self psychology. Think of different people who eat the same meals and will not have the same reactions necessarily. At the same time, different people experiencing the same interactions will not have the same developments of the self. Attachment theory talks about secure and insecure attachments. Secure attachment is when an infant is crying, when the mother leaves, calms down when she returns. Within insecure attachments, there are two. The first is avoidant insecure attachments, where infants who didn't care much if the mother left or stayed. This results in anxiety and poor peer relations later in adulthood. The second is ambivalent insecure attachments, where infants who cried when the mother left, but when she returned, they still would not calm down. With ambivalent insecure attachments, graduating to adulthood, you see clinginess potentially alternating with anger.